Oh, hey, it's Philip. He's telling me that he's leaving JetBlue and he's switching to Southwest Airlines. But if he switches to Southwest, that means no more Mint flights. Wait a minute. Southwest Airlines flies to more places out of SeaTac than JetBlue does. I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. With the recent change in flight benefits from one airline to another, it's time to put the new one to use for a quick journey to Colorado for the sake of finding a couple mountain coasters and to hopefully ride one last coaster needed at Denver's biggest park. As you may recall, my friend Philip had put me on his JetBlue flight benefits near the beginning of the year, which gave me the opportunity to enjoy a few flights in their Mint cabin during a pair of quick trips to New York and Orlando. Unfortunately, Mint flights are no longer available as Philip is no longer with the company. Instead, he now flies with Southwest Airlines as he felt it was a better fit for him and where he lives. While it's a bummer to lose those free Mint flights, I completely understand why he did it and fully support his decision. This transition also changed how I'd go about trip planning in the future, because while JetBlue flights from SeaTac are focused on the likes of Boston and New York, Southwest routes from there are shorter, going to the likes of Oakland, San Jose, Sacramento, Las Vegas, Phoenix, Denver, and Chicago. This will make getting places closer to the East Coast for a quick weekend visit more difficult, especially because Southwest doesn't offer red-eye flights. One possible workaround would be some self-made pseudo-red-eyes, catching the last flight from Seattle to a focus city like Denver or Las Vegas, crashing in the terminal for a few hours, then catching the first morning flight to the next city. The first chance I had to try out the Southwest benefit came from a quick Memorial Day weekend visit to Las Vegas, joining friends for All Elite Wrestling's Double or Nothing event. Since it was a holiday weekend, flights on certain days were fairly expensive, so I used the flight benefits to return home by getting a flight to Sacramento and connecting up to Seattle. This quick visit to Colorado would be the first using the benefit for both directions, and my plan was either to catch the last flight of the night to Denver or wait until the first flight the following morning. Then I would make a few coaster stops and return to the airport for the last evening flight back home. The numbers looked good for the flight back, but the two options to get there both fell through as they became full by the morning of that first evening flight to Denver. So this gave me a chance to try my pseudo red-eye approach, with an evening flight to Las Vegas, then the first morning flight to Denver. With time to kill before that first flight, I went back to Trailhead Barbecue for some pulled pork nachos and a white ale from Alaskan Brewing. This flight gave me a chance to experience a different variation of the 737 MAX line, as Southwest has been adding 737 MAX 8s to their fleet. Since the flight had a relatively light passenger load, I was able to have a row all to myself in the back. Because of the late hour, there wasn't much going on in the terminal other than the slot machines continuing to run and the automated floor cleaners doing their thing. So I found a quiet corner to try and catch a bit of a snooze before it was time to catch the next flight to Denver. This flight was much busier, and I ended up in an aisle seat, so I didn't get any footage of the flight to share. But luckily we got to Denver without any trouble. The drive took a bit to get going, as I seemed to have found the absolute longest traffic light in the entire continent of North America. Eventually things got rolling again, and there were some lovely views on the drive west. The first of the mountain coasters ridden for the day was located at Copper Mountain in Frisco. The resort is absolutely gorgeous, with their buildings in an incredibly scenic setting.
You know, these Aquatic Design Group mountain coasters always ride a bit rougher than the wagons that you'll see in other places. However, this was definitely a tale of two mountain coasters. Not so much that there was a split in the middle like some other mountain coasters have. Rather, the first part of it, I found myself thinking, yeah, this is a nice scenic ride. The trees make a nice little touch, and it's pleasant. It doesn't really have much speed to it. And it's almost as if the ride knew that as soon as I thought that, it was like, oh, hold my beer. And the second half was just, whew, I definitely found another gear going into that last part. Right about the middle is where it seemed to change. And then for about the third quarter, that's where it was really kicking in. And then you get to the last bit, you get a little bit calmer, but it was still really good. Better than I expected to be based off of that first half.
With one mountain coaster ridden, it was time to backtrack a little on Interstate 70, then trek up north along the Rockies to get to the incredibly scenic Estes Park. It was very fitting to see horses on the way to the next stop, which was for a ride on the Mustang mountain coaster. This one carries some good speed, and while the tree density around it is lighter, that's actually a benefit for the Mustang mountain coaster, because it opens up to some incredible views of Estes Park and the Rockies, making it a candidate for the most scenic mountain coaster. After enjoying a bit of the natural side of Colorado, it was time to head into Denver, as the final stop for this quick journey would be to a previous stop on a past visit in Elitch Gardens. I first visited the park as part of a longer visit to the area back in 2017, and while I was able to get just about all the coasters that time,
Got one coaster that I need here. I'm going to try to get that first, then maybe see about doing some of the others. Twister 2 is not going to be available today. The sign up front says it's closed, but that's not the one I need. So far, good news.
and while you might be quick to guess that it was half pipe, I was fortunately able to ride that one. It was its neighbor Boomerang that I missed, as I tested a couple times that day, but never actually opened it before I had to head to the airport. And upon arriving to it this time, the people in the queue were a good indication that
I'm gonna get my credit, I'm gonna get my credit, yeah, yeah.
it was like most other Boomerangs, so not really a top-level coaster that's unique, but it was nice to be able to get that park's coaster collection complete. There was another ride experience that was added after my first visit, and that was the Meow Wolf Kaleidoscope. The folks behind the incredible Area 15 attraction in Las Vegas were given a chance to help retheme this Old Sally dark ride, giving it a unique style and display of pieces made by local artists.
So that was interesting. I kind of like the way they did a lot of the artistic features that are similar to what you see at Meow Wolf exhibits. The guns are still there from the previous attraction, but they didn't really seem to do anything. I'm not sure if that's just something that sometimes they trigger it, sometimes they don't, if it's super sensitive. I kind of felt like it wasn't really affecting it. Either way, a neat redo, very unique, very original, definitely worth checking out.
I had time for one more ride in the park, and that would be the Rare Arrow Shuttle Looping Coaster Sidewinder, which offers a short but sweet pop of air, immediately followed by some rather high positive G's in the loop, then repeats that order in reverse. Plus, while you wait to ride, you can enjoy an excellent view of Denver. Unfortunately, with this visit being a day trip, I'd have to head out of downtown to get back to the airport for the flight home. And with that, the first full run on the new flight benefits was a success. Another thank you to my friend Philip for including me on these flight benefits, as it'll help reduce the cost of travel overall and could prove helpful in adding some travel opportunities in the future. It's hard to say for sure what those opportunities will be, as that depends on my work schedule and what flight loads are like. But I'm grateful just to have that option, to be able to make a quick trip like this to Colorado, and hopefully it'll lead to more adventures to share here on Coasting with Culture. Thank you for watching this Coasting with Culture video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click the subscribe button below to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones, which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.